Have you ever walked into a bank and felt like you were almost invisible? Like the staff was polite enough, but nobody was rushing to help you. Nobody was offering you anything special, and you left feeling like just another number. Now imagine a different person walks into that same bank. They have more money in their account. Suddenly there's a private room. There's a dedicated advisor. There's coffee. There are offers you've never even heard of. Same bank, same building, completely different experience. And here's the part that really gets people. The less money you have, the more the bank actually charges you. And the more money you have, the more the bank pays you. Let that sink in for a second. Today we're going to pull back the curtain on exactly how banks treat people depending on how much wealth they have, why they do it, and most importantly, what you can do with this information to start moving yourself up that ladder. Just a quick note before we dive in. Everything in this video is purely for educational purposes. This is not financial advice. Everyone's situation is different, so always speak to a qualified financial professional before making any decisions with your money. Alright, let's start at the very beginning. Let's talk about what it's like to be an everyday, average bank customer. This is most people. You have a checking account, maybe a savings account, and you keep a few hundred to a few $1,000s in there at any given time. You go to the ATM, you pay your bills, maybe you use the mobile app to check your balance. The bank is perfectly happy to have you as a customer. But here's the thing, you are not their priority, and the system is quietly set up in a way that keeps you paying fees. Think about overdraft fees. If your account goes below zero, even by just $1, many banks will charge you somewhere around $35. That's a $35 fee on a $1 mistake. If you're someone who's living paycheck to paycheck, this can spiral fast. You get hit with one fee, your account goes lower, you get hit with another fee, and suddenly you're in a hole that takes weeks to dig out of. Banks made billions, and I mean billions of dollars every single year, from overdraft fees alone. Who pays most of those fees? People with lower account balances. People who can least afford it. That's not a coincidence. That's a business model, and it's not just overdraft fees. There are monthly maintenance fees if your balance drops below a certain amount. There are fees for using out-of-network ATMs. There are wire transfer fees, paper statement fees, inactivity fees if you haven't used your account in a while. The less money you have sitting in the bank, the more you are paying just to keep your account open. Meanwhile, the interest rate on your savings account, it might be something like 0.01%. That means if you have $1,000 sitting in savings for a whole year, you earn 10 cents. 10 cents, the bank takes your money, uses it to make loans and investments, earns a healthy return on it, and gives you 10 cents. That's the deal at the bottom of the wealth ladder. Now let's step up one level. Let's say you've been working hard, you've saved up a little more, and now you have somewhere between $10,000 and $100,000 in the bank. Things start to shift, but only slightly. You might qualify for what banks call a preferred or select account tier. You probably won't pay monthly maintenance fees anymore. You might get a slightly better interest rate on your savings. Still not great, but better than 10 cents a year. You might get access to a dedicated phone line where you can actually reach a human being without waiting. 45 minutes on hold. Small perks, but they're there. At this stage, the bank might also start offering you their own financial products, things like certificates of deposit, which are basically savings accounts where you agree to lock your money away for a fixed period of time in exchange for a higher interest rate. They might offer you a premium credit card with better rewards. They're starting to see you as someone worth keeping around, someone worth talking to, but you're still largely on your own when it comes to building wealth. They're not sending anyone to guide you. You're still a retail customer, just a slightly more valued one. Here's where it gets really interesting. Let's jump up to the next level. People who have somewhere around $100,000 to $1 million in assets. Now we're entering what banks call the mass affluent category. And this is where the white glove service starts to appear. At this point, banks will often assign you a personal banker or a relationship manager. This is a real human being whose job it is to know you, to know your financial goals, and to make sure you feel taken care of. They'll call you, they'll check in, they'll invite you to private events and seminars. The whole vibe of the relationship changes. You also start getting access to better products, better interest rates on loans, better terms on mortgages, priority processing on applications. And here's something most people don't know. At this level, a lot of fees that regular customers pay without question become completely negotiable. That wire transfer fee, if you ask nicely, they'll often waive it. That foreign transaction fee on your card, gone, because banks know that at this wealth level, you have choices. You could take your money somewhere else. And they don't want to lose you, so they treat you better, and they're more flexible because your business actually matters to them in a meaningful way. Now let's go up another level. We're talking about people with $1 million or more in investable assets. Welcome to private banking. This is a completely different world. Private banking is essentially a bank within a bank. It's a separate division with separate staff, separate offices, and a completely different philosophy. Instead of you going to the bank comes to you. You have a dedicated private banker who is essentially your financial concierge. They handle everything: wealth management, investment advice, tax planning, estate planning, even things like helping you buy a piece of art or navigate the purchase of a second home overseas. The products available at this level are things that most everyday people don't even know exist. You get access to investment opportunities that aren't available to the general public. Things like private equity deals, hedge funds, structured products, and exclusive lending arrangements. And the interest rates, completely different. If you need a loan at this level, the bank will bend over backwards to give it to you at an incredibly low rate, because lending to wealthy people is low risk and high reward for them. The wealthy borrower almost always pays back the loan, and the bank earns interest while also keeping that customer's full relationship. There's also something fascinating that happens at this level. The bank starts helping you make more money, not just storing your money, but actively growing it. Private bankers and wealth managers work with your money to generate returns, to protect it from taxes, and to make sure it's structured in the most efficient way possible. It's like having a team of experts working for you. But here's the kicker: you only get access to that team if you already have $1 million or more. The people who need financial guidance the most, the people just starting out, are the ones who get the least of it. And then at the very top, we're talking $10 million, $50 million, $100 million, and above. You enter what's called ultra-high net worth territory, or family office services. At this level, banks don't just assign you a banker. They might assign you an entire team: lawyers, accountants, investment strategists, philanthropic advisors. If you want to set up a charitable foundation, they'll help you do that. If you want to invest in a private company before it goes public, they have connections for that. If you want to borrow $100 million against your investment portfolio without selling any of it, yes, that's a real thing. They'll arrange it. The ultra-wealthy essentially get a full financial operating system built around them, and much of it is invisible to everyone else. So why does this all matter to you, especially if you're just starting out? It matters because understanding this system is the first step to navigating it. And here's the thing that nobody tells you early enough. The goal isn't to be impressed by what rich people get. The goal is to understand the rules of the game so you can start playing it better yourself. Because here's what's actually true: the behaviors and habits that move people up these tiers are learnable. They're not secret. Wealthy people are not smarter than you. They've just learned to do a few specific things consistently: spend less than they earn, invest the difference, avoid unnecessary fees, and let time do the heavy lifting. Every single person who has moved from the bottom tier of banking service to the top tier started somewhere. Most of them started exactly where you are right now. The first practical step is ruthlessly cutting the fees you're currently paying. If your bank charges you a monthly maintenance fee, call them and ask to have it waived, or switch to a bank or credit union that doesn't charge one. If your savings account is earning almost nothing, look into high-yield savings accounts that are offering significantly better rates. Many of them are offered by online banks with no fees at all. These small changes won't make you rich overnight, but they stop the bleeding. They stop money from quietly leaking out of your life every single month. The second step is starting to invest, even if it's a small amount. When you invest even in simple low-cost index funds, you start participating in the same wealth-building system that the banks use with wealthy clients' money. You're putting your money to work instead of letting it sit there earning next to nothing. Over time, thanks to compound growth, even small amounts invested consistently can turn into something genuinely like. And here's the beautiful thing: once your investment account grows to a certain size, the better tiers of service and the better products start becoming available to you. You earn your way into the system by playing the long game. The banks have structured everything around protecting and growing wealth at the top, while quietly extracting fees at the bottom. Now you know that, and knowledge changes everything. You can start making decisions that put you on the right side of that equation. You can stop being the person who pays the fees and start becoming the person who earns the perks. This stuff isn't taught in school. Most people go their whole lives not understanding how any of this works. But you watched this video. You're asking the right questions. And that already puts you ahead. If this gave you something to think about, go ahead and hit the like button. It genuinely helps this channel reach more people who could use this information. And if you want to keep learning how money actually works in the real world, subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. The next video is going to get into something most beginners completely overlook when they first start investing. And it's one of the biggest reasons people don't see the results they're hoping for. You won't want to miss it.